Oh, right. Let's see if this actually works. Okay, we've got that set up. Stream is healthy. We are streaming the right stuff. Let's have a quick look. All right. So, got a job ahead of us today, working on a build with John over at Tabletop Witchcraft to make a what's called a palisade, kind of like a drawbridge, but just goes up and down in front of a castle and so on. I've got basically an hour to myself right now. Hopefully nothing's going to start beeping or phone calls or anything like that. So let's do a little bit of soldering and so on. What I have here, I have it set up, hopefully, and you guys will see this as well, is that I've got my microscope here. And then I also have a top-down bench view so that you can see the parts and the soldering that's happening in real time. I'm trying to keep all of this lined up and pretty and so on. If you do have any feedback, if you do have any anything that you go, ooh, that looks weird, that looks strange, or I sound funny, please do comment in the chat, in the YouTube chat, and maybe I can fix it. This is my first shot doing something like this in a long time, so be gentle and let me know how it goes. Alright, so to begin with, let's start by, this is a Wemos D1 Mini, this is our processor, and this is the brain. This is what's going to happen. What I want to do is add on this new board. This is a Kilgarren Castle board. Let's see if I can, here we go. Kilgarren Castle, and this guy's job is mainly, there's a motor driver by here that drives motors that'll turn a handle and pull the up and down, the door up and down, a motor that spins on with a string on it, and it pulls the motor up and down. And then there's a whole bunch of outputs here that I can use for high power LEDs. We don't quite need that, so instead of that, what we're going to do is use those pins as other sensors. So for the gate to know where it is, we're going to use magnets, and we're going to use Western light boards, which can detect the presence of a magnet. So when the door is going all the way up, when it gets to the top, a magnet will be in line with the sensor. The sensor will say, hey, there's a magnet here. Stop turning. Stop pulling string. And it'll stop. Of course, that's all software that me in the future has to write. Me in the past sucks most of the time. So why don't we go heads down for just a moment here, and we'll go heads down, and we'll see. We'll get started here. So we're gonna wake up our trusty soldering iron here. Nothing special here. It's a cheap Yihua one from Amazon. What I do spend my good money on is good solder. I can never say it properly. But this is what brand is it? It's gonna kill me now because I can't remember it. Kester. That's it, Kester. And this one's actually got some. Lead in it as well, so I always make sure to wash my hands when I'm done. Alright, so let's see. I see we've got a viewer. I'm wondering, you're welcome to comment and so on to see if all that works. If not, no problem. There we go. So the way I typically make these is that I want to put my female headers. Those are these pins. You see those have got like female pin headers. They will go onto the Wemos board, and then on the shield, this is what these are called when they plug on. I'm going to use a male header. So you see the kind of so they'll plug in like that then. Now, when you buy a Wemos D1 Mini, when you get one of these, it actually comes with a bunch of these headers. These are great headers. However, I'm a bit snobby. I actually really like these very short ones because it means that the total stack is much shorter. So by using these small female ones and these small male ones, I can make a stack that is only about 10 millimeters total height. So we'll pop that in like that, and we'll make another mini stack here. And if you guys have followed any courses I've done before, or come to any of my classes I've given, you'll know that I have a lovely trick for making sure these boards are lined up and so on. I use one of these cheap, these are like $1 a piece or something like that. They're breadboards normally. This is for people who like to prototype their boards or whatever. I'm not doing that today. What I'm doing is I'm using it to line up the pins so that these pins are straight and not quiff, all over the place. So let's pop that in like this. Over one. And some of you might be able to hear my dog barking in the background, probably at an Amazon delivery guy, knowing my luck. And even worse, something that's not for me. So you can see now, if I pop this like this to see if it'll catch the focus. There we go. These are now aligned, and I can solder these pins in place. Alright, let me switch off my face camera for just a second. There we go. Alright. So yeah, so this build is going to be for a drawbridge or a palisade that rises up and down, and it does so by using a string on a motor. So the motor turns and it pulls the string in, and that lifts the gate. You guys see what I'm up to here, okay? Yeah, I think so. Looking good. Let's keep on going. And so to do that, you need a motor. So I'm using what's called an N20 motor. It's a hobby-sized motor that has a gearbox on it to slow it down from spinning so fast you can't see to about 5 turns a minute. I think the one John is using is 15 turns a minute. But that is slow enough to pull the string up gently and give this kind of, very human mechanical speed of lifting the gate. There we go. And there we have our first, there we go, we have our first one. Voila. And let me drop in the top board now. Okay, I'm going to align these up. I'm going to align the notch up. You see the notch by there. I'm going to line that up, and I'm going to solder these pins in as well. And we'll almost be done with the basics here. 1, 2. So you notice the way I solder is I apply the heat and then the solder. I leave like half a second. That gives the soldering iron enough time to heat up the pin, to heat up that little golden ring around the pin, so that all the solder flows nicely. And we'll do that again now. Let's have a quick look. 1, there we go. That took a little longer. 2, 3. So again, this is a Kilgarren board. The Kilgarren boards are designed to drive 6 high power LEDs and a spinning motor. Now in this build for John, we've got 3 sensors and a motor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hack in the extra pins here so we can bring the sensors in, and then we just say to ourselves, okay, no using those outputs and so on. Okay. So to go on the end here, I also want to add, let's separate the sandwich here. There we go. Okay. Oh dear, look at that. Alright, this is user error. Look, I put a female on one side and the male on the other. It doesn't matter, right? And in fact, that's quite good because it forces me only to be able to connect it one way in the future. Metal is metal, it'll conduct, but I do feel like an idiot. Okay. So let's add some of these right angle connectors. So let's get a little pair of snips. No feedback so far, that's fine. Hello folks, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey Scott, how's it going? Good to see you. I got some time off today, so I'm here in the lab working away. And just to see if all this is working, let me switch to my other view. There we go, I'm not getting set up anymore. Here's the build so far. Let me see if I can. My microscope is a little bit too powerful sometimes, but you can see instead of putting like both males on the bottom and both females at the top, I was an idiot. And you can see that I put the female connector on one side and male on the other. That's an easy enough mistake to do. And I now feel like a complete pillock. So let's go back to the overhead. You're taking a break from the day job. I don't blame you, buddy. I don't blame you. Alright, so that's back together by there. And I'm going to solder these connectors on by here. And the reason I want to do that is that this is my motor output. So let's, in fact I shouldn't have connected them back together. Let's move out of the way. There we go. Alright, so this is going to plug in down here. And now I need to solder these 4 pins on. So we'll do that ever so quickly. That doesn't take long. We're in the right view. You guys can see it. And I wonder, Scott, why I can't see your chat. That's very interesting. No. Bear with me, Scott. I'm just doing a little bit of technical, ironing out of all the bugs. Ah, it's there. Okay. All right. I'm learning. There's your chat. All right. Let's get back to work here. What you or anybody else is really here to see is me burn my fingers. One, two. Make sure they're not bridging. 3, and then this one's a pain in the arse. I've got to spin things around. 4. Okay, so now we have beautifully 4 soldered pins in place. Are those the right ones? And I'm a pillock. They're the wrong ones. I am really not on form today. This trying to work in parallel with YouTube is killing me. So let's jump these 2 on by here. These are the actual outputs. And we'll do the same again. We'll solder those on real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so now I have a stack where I'm going to use these ones. I'm not going to use this. This is ready to roll now. I still have to write the software and so on, but what's difficult is that I now need to connect my sensors. I need to find a way to connect my sensors. And so I have Western light sensors which are designed to detect the presence of a magnet. I have 3 of them. And this week I sent John a diagram. Let me see if I can get that ready for you guys. Hold on. Where is my Gmail? I sent John a diagram with what I wanted him to connect them up to. So let's see if I can share that with you. Sent items. And they all folded over and they all fell out. Hit the floor and he gave a shout. Wiring diagram. Now then. How can I show this to you guys? No, it's not that, so maybe if I bring this over, you guys can see it. There we go. So this is the diagram I sent to John. So this is the Kilgarran Castle. There's power and there's ground going to all these little Western light boards, and then the output sense, the signal that says, hey, I saw something, it goes high or low, comes back into these lower pins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 4 pins in parallel here and 4 pins over here, and that should give me enough to be able to wire out to everything else. So let's jump back to the stream. There we go. Now I'm wondering tomorrow. Oh, hey Yannick, how's it going? Lunchtime, huh? That's the way to roll. All right, so I am looking at what I want to do. I'm going to stand for this to show you guys a little better. Is I'm going to use one of these single male headers. These are basic male headers. Let's see if they're... There we go, it'll zoom. These are basic male headers. You get them, You know, you can get them in strips of 40 at a time, pretty cheap from Amazon. I don't pay a lot for these. And you know, $6 from Amazon will give you enough for a lifetime type of stuff. I am going to cheat like crazy. I'm going to add these on the side here as extra connectors onto those pins. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to get my Omnifixio stand. And Yannick, just to bring you up to date, I'm building a portcullis with John at Tabletop Witchcraft for his Mordheim table. And so this portcullis has to raise up and down. It uses a motor with a piece of string, and will raise up and down. There we go. The piece of string wraps around the motor, and as the motor turns, it pulls the gate up and down. But you know, we need to know when we've gone too far. If you've pulled the string up too much and the motor keeps on going, it's just going to snap the string. Never a good thing. So we're using this Kilgarren board because it's got the motor driver built into it, and then I'm hacking some of the other pins which would normally drive big transistors. They're actually going to be used as inputs for the sensors now. So yeah, you've got the idea. I see you've just written there that you know, the additional pins. So let's see if I can do this. I'm going to switch my camera off because I've got to get a little bit closer. My eyes aren't what they once were. Neither is my ego. So let's have a look. Hopefully I'm not going to get in the way of the camera here. I want to solder this on just like, you know, on the side here, so that I'm not upsetting anything. So we're gonna, here we go. I'm gonna tack this on first, right? You'll notice I'm holding on to the connector, but I'm not holding on to this last pin because this last pin is about to get really hot. Here we go. Hopefully it'll be good enough to hold on. No, not yet. Okay, so we'll add a little bit of solder onto this pin. Big blob of solder. In fact, so much is bridged one of the connectors. Bridging is when two wires connect together. Come on, you. No, it really doesn't want to today. Typical, especially when I'm on camera, you know? Let's grab some pliers. Okay. We can really get down there this time. Forgive the silence, I will get a backing track for my next live stream. No, it really doesn't want to know, does it? Okay, I've got a really ugly blob of solder on this first one, but that's okay. Ugly blobs of solder will hold the rest on while I make them nice and clean, and I'll come back and clean that one up. Let's see if I can... This one's a little further from the pin than what I'd like. See how that looks to me in front of my eyes. Oh, that's kind of ugly, but as long as it passes the electricity, I will forgive it this time. There we go. So the thing to bear in mind with this is that this is not a necessarily mechanically strong connection. I would probably want to add hot glue a little bit later and so on. But you can see there, let me bring it up to the camera a little bit more. There we go. Now I have 4 pins that connect to, that's 5V, ground, D4 and D3. Let me spin this around. Now there are way more elegant ways of doing this, by the way. I could have, or I should have, you know, have a separate board, a little connector board underneath, and keep on stacking them and so on. But I'm also, I want to say efficient. Some people might say lazy. It's up to them. Alright, let's try this over here now. We'll do the same thing again. Big blob of solder to begin with. Alright, big blob of solder on that one. That's one. Now let's get the other 3 done. Now once you've hacked these extra sensors on, you cannot use these signals as outputs. They have to be inputs from now on, which is a bit of a nuisance. Now look at that, I've created a bridge. We'll fix that in just a minute. Let's get some... Where do I keep it? Where do I keep it? In all my mess, where do I keep my wick? Wick. Quick. Find me some wick. Okay, I got a bag of wick right here. Okay. Oh, there it is in the back there. I knew I had it here somewhere. Okay, this stuff is called solder wick. There we go. And its job in life is to help you soak up too much solder. So if you put too much on, you need to soak it up a little bit. Then you cut a fresh edge of it. There we go. And you apply it where you have too much solder, and it sucks up the solder beautifully. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is... I need to test this before I plug it in. Because if I plug it in and I've shorted those pins, all hell will break loose. So, I could have done a better job on that one, to be honest with you. I should, but okay, it'll be fine. I'm going to use a multimeter. Now, most of you have seen these and have no idea how they work. And the best way of using one in this case, I'm going to use it in what's called continuity mode. Okay. Now, careful for the beep here. Watch your ears. When I tap these two together, that means electricity is flowing through these from one end to the other. Okay. So, for instance, if I put the red on this side of this little black piece of plastic, because it's one continuous piece of metal, I should get activity. That's wonderful. I want to make sure that none of these are touching each other. So I touch one, then the other. Nope. One, then the other. Nope. One, then the other. Nope. That's really great. Let's try it on this side. One, then the other. Nope. One, then the other. Nope. One, then the other. Yeah, there's a little bit. Nothing to worry about. Let's see. Anything else I want to check while I'm here? This and this. No, that's fine as well. And so... yeah, that's looking pretty good. I mean, other than the soldering is a bit shoddy, but oh, look, I'm wiggling it and it's not coming off, so I'm quite happy with that. Now, one of the things I should also check is whether these signals are making it all the way, right? So, for instance, this is D6. I'm going to put one tip here, and where does D6 go off to? Here, right? Yeah, that's good. D7 is going up here. Yeah, that's good. Alright, this is D8 is going off to here, and then this is 3.3 volt, which, where can I find that? Here? Yeah, lovely. Okay, same thing over here. We're going to test this one, D3. I'm checking my soldering because there's nothing worse than thinking something is broken when you just did a shoddy soldering job. That's this one. Yeah. 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 Beautiful. I'm thrilled with that. Okay, that is about it for today. That's all I have. Basically, I wanted to show you this trick of adding headers on like this. Didn't do exactly the cleanest of jobs. One of the reasons for that, and I should point this out, is that a Wemos D1 Mini is slightly smaller on the sides than a Kilgarren board. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Kilgarren board is a little bit wider, so these pins can't go in as far. Yeah, there we go. I can actually push these plastic bits down the pins, and it'll look better, won't it? There we go. Okay, so a little glue along these lines as well. maybe some resin glue. That would probably be really good as well. Alright, that's all I have for tonight, folks. Thank you very much. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.